Next, we're going to hear from a local employment services agency, and we have Leslie Burko with us. He's the Employment Services Manager at YorkWorks Employment Services. YorkWorks is a service provider for Employment Ontario's employment service programs. And today, Leslie's guest is going to bring us a different perspective. We're going to hear from the employer side of the equation now. And his guest today is Gary Williams from Can Auto Care. Leslie?
Thank you. Good morning. So I'm going to talk about apprenticeship, since we are talking about the different ways to hire people, alternative routes to hire people. Apprenticeship is one of the viable ways of doing that. And I represent the York Region Employment Network. We run Employment Ontario employment service programs, and apprenticeship is one of the programs that we do run. We have 14 locations in the region, 14 service provider locations in the region running these programs. And so I'm going to talk about apprenticeship. I'm just going to give you some metrics on apprenticeship, and I'm going to get into the advantages to employers. So there's approximately 150 trades out there, broken into 4 sectors: construction, service, motive power, and manufacturing. So those are the 4 main sectors in apprenticeship. And every year, approximately 42,000 people get into apprenticeship, into the trades. And out of that, over 10,000 of them receive their certificate of apprenticeship. So it's a very robust industry in terms of the trades. Now, what is in it for you as employers? What is in it for you? Because at the end of the day, what asks your bottom line is what we're going to talk about. Well, the first thing is the apprenticeship tax training credits that you get as employers. One of our guest speakers already talked about the $5,000 tax credit that you get carries over to first 36 months, which is up to a maximum of $15,000. We also have the apprenticeship signing bonuses that we give at the local service providers. So if you sign on an apprentice, we give you $2,000 signing bonus for signing on an apprentice. So there's other tax credits out there. Now, I know we have a new government in the province, so I'm not going to get too much into that because things may change at the policy level, but as it stands, these are some of the tax credits that are available for employers. Now, in fact, if the apprentice that you take on also completes their training and gets certified, you also get another $1,000 in tax credit. So there's a whole lot out there in terms of the credits that you get from a financial standpoint. The other advantage in hiring an apprentice is also the loyalty. One of our guest students talked about his experience at IBM, and he mentioned loyalty and how IBM is training him and how he's learning the culture. We know in our business that retention is a huge issue for a lot of employers because it does take away from your bottom line when you can retain talent. So one of the best ways in retaining that talent is actually to take on the apprentices, train them, support them in their journey, because we do know that employers who support apprentices do actually get a lot of loyalty from those apprentices. In fact, a 2010 Canadian Apprentice Forum study did show that the overwhelming majority of apprentices who are supported by employers actually end up being very loyal to those employers. So it is very important for employers to support apprenticeship because it adds up to your bottom line. The other thing also is that the average tradesperson is 55 years old, and they are retiring, and there's going to be a huge gap in the trades. And it's the reason why at the provincial level and also at the federal level, the policymakers see that. And that is why they're throwing a lot of resources at apprenticeship. So it's very, very important, therefore, for you as employers and community stakeholders, decision makers, to take advantage of that, because not only are you supporting your own sectors with best practices and having a pool of, supporting the pool of really highly skilled individuals, but also you get to train and mold people. We hear a lot about the FIT, we hear a lot about that. in our business where employers are saying, you know what, we want somebody who's the right fit. Well, one of the ways in getting the right fit is to training somebody, molding them. Not only are they going to be picking up the skills in the trade as a whole, but also the specific skills that are important to your organization, your business. So there's a lot of advantages in hiring an apprentice. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in terms of the benefits is that you get to choose from a really big pool of qualified candidates. We've heard a lot from a lot of the stakeholders on this panel, from the universities, colleges, high schools, and also the service providers in the region. Our job is to bridge the gap between employers and job seekers. And above all, our services are at no cost to you. I don't want to say our services are free because somebody is paying for it, but it is at no cost to you. You're not incurring exorbitant costs from recruiters and headhunters. These services are at no cost to you. And we can help you access a really, really wonderful pool of talented individuals who will add up to your bottom line in terms of recruiting wonderful talent. In York region, like I said, there's 14 locations of employment service providers running the Employment Ontario employment service programs. Basically go to employmentontario.ca, put your postal code in there, and it'll give you on the map all the different locations. I see Al has one of those, Al, what is that one? Yeah, there you go. Just pick up one of those flyers. The Workforce Planning Board has been actually doing a wonderful job in supporting the network in York region and really advertising our services to employers and the public. So Al, thank you again for all the wonderful work you and your team do for us. Very much appreciated. I did bring one of our employers. And I want him to basically talk briefly about accessing the service and how that has been beneficial to his business. So I want to introduce at this point Gary Williams from Kent Auto Care to come on. Gary, can you come on, please? To talk briefly about how he's accessed our services and how that has helped him. In fact, Gary's outfit is a new enterprise, and he reached out to us, and he's all the way, now we are in York region, Gary's all the way in the Waterloo? Kitchener-Waterloo. So I said, well, we can come over there, but guess what? We can find you a service provider in Waterloo. And so that's how that happened. He was able to access service in Waterloo. And the beautiful thing about the synergy of all that is he ended up hiring an apprentice from our location in Stouffville who was willing to go all the way to Waterloo. So it's a beautiful program. It brings a lot of synergy to the network and community stakeholders and the decision makers. So please take advantage of using apprenticeship as an alternative route to hiring wonderful talent. Gary, please come on.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Pardon my, I guess my voice because I'm just getting over the cold. And unfortunately, I'm going to be a little bit hoarse while I speak. But before I start, I want to first thank the organizers. Workforce Planning Board, you guys have done a fantastic job. I've learned so much already just from this morning. Martin, everything you talked about regarding the upcoming and new is it Gen Zs you talked about? And their expectations, because I'm seeing that. I'm from one of the old generations, what you call the baby boomers. We're the ones that are kind of getting out of the workplace right now. Part of what I'm doing as a baby boomer is I'm also an entrepreneur, owned many businesses over my career, and launching this new venture. I'm actually launching it with a couple of millennials. And I can tell you the challenges that you talked about, Martin, I'm seeing it full force. But I can tell you that also as a taxpayer, I'm thankful to see that my money is being used for a very worthy cause. It is helping me. It's helping all of us as employers. Leslie, thank you very much for inviting me to this event this morning. I didn't know about it until Leslie actually asked me to come today. But I've got my money's worth already. Now, talking about the apprenticeship program. In starting this new program, I've never been in the automotive field before, but I did know that we needed, being a full-service automotive shop, I needed mechanics. The big problem that we ran into was finding qualified mechanics. As Leslie mentioned, majority of them are at age 55 and up, and they are looking to get out of being mechanics. I liked what I heard from Martin this morning because he talked about diversity and the younger generation looking for different avenues and different experiences. Glad to say my organization can give a significant broad range of things to all these people coming in. Currently, the young man who we hired through the apprenticeship program, who left Stouffville to go to work with us in Kitchener, he's on his way now to becoming an owner of his own shop. So that is a career path that he's chosen to take, that will take him from just being a mechanic working for somebody else to become an entrepreneur, to owning his own business and running his own business. Total Quartz Can Auto Care is a new and upcoming brand that is actually being driven by the fourth largest oil company in the world, Total Quartz, and we are expanding all across Ontario. It is only a matter of time before we get into York Region, but I can tell you that accessing this program that Leslie talked about has helped me significantly. Seeing all the other board members and everything that they have actually presented as an employer, it shows me that there's a lot more resources that I can access to help drive my business and also provide, the most important to me is giving back, but provide opportunity for not only new immigrants, but up-and-coming Gen Zs and millennials do a lot more. We're in the process of educating people. Where do we see our future mechanics? They will be our apprentices, because our structure allows our apprentices to go into different areas. They want to become an owner, they can become an owner. If they want to move from there into customer service and become a service advisor, they can do the same. So I'm glad to see that some of the things that we've already added to our culture and our business is actually going to be feeding the needs and wants of the Gen Zs. Well, thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you very much, everyone here on the panel and the organizers. Thank you very much for supporting me as an employer. Thank you.